Anyway, I finally did it, folks. And here's the letter. Ford dismissal, reactions and response. This is an open letter to President Wilson. This letter was forwarded to Elder Wilson with 39 signatures. It was formulated during the summer break at Andrews University when the greater part of the student body was on vacation. It therefore represents only a portion of the interested parties. The letter was prepared in consultation with seminary faculty. But Smuts mentioned this letter. He was the first to sign it, and he said he was the only scholar that did. It's a pretty good letter, though. Page 61 of Spectrum, November 1980. And it's dated September the 10th, 1980. And I'm reading it because it validates what I've told you before, that people saw what happened at the time. Some people had different views, but this tells you that some saw it the same way we did. Dear Elder Wilson, we are pastors and scholars at Andrews Theological Seminary who are deeply concerned for the unity of the Church. As Seventh-day Adventists committed to the Church and its pursuit of truth, we wish to express our appreciation to you for convening the Glacier View Conference. We have not envied you your difficult task. Nevertheless, because of our love for this church, we deplore the rending asunder of Christ's body by what we consider to be the unjust recommendation that Dr. Desmond Ford not be employed in denominational service. This was improper for these reasons. The two consensus statements unanimously voted at Glacier View by his peers were accepted by Dr. Ford. He was therefore in harmony with his brethren. These consensus documents actually affirm Dr. Ford's major biblical concerns. For instance, they concede: 1. The book of Hebrews pictures Christ going within the veil, i.e. into the most holy place, not the holy place, at his ascension to be our intercessor. The book of Hebrews does not teach a two-apartment or two-phase ministry. B. The defilement of the sanctuary in Daniel 8 is not caused by our sins, but by the desecrating work of the little horn. In other words, the term cleansing the sanctuary in Daniel 8 does not refer to an investigation of our sins, but to God's victory over Antichrist on our behalf. C. The year-day principle is not explicitly identified as a scriptural rule for interpreting time prophecies. D. Under inspiration, the New Testament writers look for the second coming of Christ in their day. They did not expect to wait 1900 years. E. Our acquittal in the judgment is based solely on the continued decision we make with respect to Jesus. To have accepted his death on our behalf is to have passed already from condemnation to salvation. 3. Church administration has apparently rejected Dr. Ford's willingness to cooperate in restoring church unity. We understand you would not accept his assurance to teach only that which was approved at Glacier View. Instead, the impossible demand has been laid upon him to repudiate his conscientious convictions. We find this particularly difficult to accept in view of the fact that no explicit scriptural proof has been offered to negate his views. 4. A 10-point statement has been used in condemning Dr. Ford's ministry both in the review and in recent administrative actions. However, we question its legitimacy for this purpose. A. It does not represent the consensus of Dr. Ford's brethren in that it was neither discussed nor voted by the full group at Glacier View. B. It in fact contradicts the spirit and letter of the consensus statement at certain key points. The authors of the document intended it to clarify, just checking my mic is on, communication at the conference and did not know it were used to jeopardize Dr. Ford's ministry. They've got it right. 5. You assured the church in writing, review July 9. That the Glacier View Conference would not be a trial of Dr. Ford. Evidence indicates that it was primarily a trial, and administrative action was begun there that will apparently deprive him of his credentials. In view of the foregoing facts, we must ask, is it right to allow a minister to be defrocked who is in basic harmony with the theological consensus of his church? Is it right to condemn a man's theology by using a document, the 10-point statement, that was not even discussed, let alone approved by the body of delegates appointed to judge his arguments? Is it right to ostracise a worker whose major biblical views, while criticised by some, have nevertheless been largely accepted by the body established to evaluate their merit? Is it right to ask anyone to give up his honest convictions, especially when he offers to table them while study continues and when no scriptural proof has shown them to be wrong? Because of our desire that justice be done and that reconciliation occur, we earnestly request that the following actions be taken. 1. The review should frankly acknowledge and explain Dr. Ford's contributions to Adventist sanctuary theology as accepted at Glacier View in the consensus statement, and rectify its prejudicial reporting of denominational issues. 2. A committee should be formed that includes a wide representation of Dr. Ford's fellow pastors and scholars to review Adventist administrative actions regarding his employment as a pastor in the denomination. 3. The General Conference should encourage church administrators to not regard with suspicion the workers and laypersons who share scriptural concerns in common with Dr. Ford. 4. The administration should seek to be reconciled with those Adventists who feel that excessive concern for denominational tradition is eclipsing the rightful place of Christ in the Bible. As you know, some congregations have already withdrawn from conference affiliation, others are splitting internally. Large numbers of denominational workers are fearful that their present connection with the organisation is in jeopardy. We believe that decisive action on your part to redress what seems to be injustice can still avert a major fragmentation of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. The fruit of righteousness will be peace. The effect of righteousness will be quietness and confidence forever. Isaiah 32:17. That's a great letter. And remember that Smuts said the scholars who were there helped the students and pastors to word this letter. Only Smuts out of the scholars signed it. He was the first to sign. And without Smuts' email, we wouldn't know that. So that's that letter. Pretty amazing letter. It says what I'm saying, which gives me, great encouragement, because I do want to be accurate.